Welcome to night class. Alright, so here at USC, a lot is asked of us. Like, even this Thanksgiving break, we're expected to just go home and take Uncle Kenny's rowing jokes like we never heard them before. No, Kenny! I didn't row my boat gently down the admissions process. You forgot the stuffing and your marriage is falling apart. But this semester, there's been one more ask from the university to its students, and that has been something called the Values Poll. In this episode, we'll go over what the Values Poll is, where it came from, and how it's meant to influence our campus for the years ahead. Now, if you're a USC student and you don't know what the Values Poll is, come on. Our school did a lot to promote it. We're assuming you missed it because you're the kind of person that deletes emails where the subject line starts with important. And that's sick! But, we also have this notice here from your doctor, and, well, I guess STDs are cool now, so. For anyone who doesn't know what the Values Poll is, it's a questionnaire that was distributed to students earlier this semester. It was advertised as a 15-minute online poll focused on current and desired values. Who are we, and who are we capable of being? They're the same questions you ask yourself when you're on shrooms in Joshua Tree staring into the skull of a dead vulture and thinking, how much tongue should I use when I kiss this thing? The poll also asked people questions about their personal values, what they think of our campus's current culture, and what they think our new culture should be. Think of it as old Kanye versus new Kanye. Everyone wants old Kanye, but USC is new Kanye now. Instead of being fun and wearing backpacks, we're self-destructing and spent the last year falling apart in front of TMZ.
What's wrong with what Lori Loughlin thought?
She was trying to get into the college. People are saying once you're in, you can join the rowing team.
But she bribed. That's the bad part.
Oh, the same thing when you give $10 million to a library.
Different.
Same.
Different.
Same.
Different.
Same. Infinity.
You can tell Harvey's jokes always land, because that one killed with absolutely every single person in the office. You got a team that loves you, Harv. Be proud of that. USC really wanted students to take the Values Poll. It was open for an entire month. It even had some edgy advertisements featuring some typical complaints from us students, like, this is useless and nothing will change. Of course, ignoring the alternatives, like, the floor at New North is still leaking, and there's a cat rectum in my chef salad at EVK. So I guess we know where EV Kitty went. But the poll didn't really work out. And by the time it closed, a small number of students actually completed it. The university website likes to say that nearly 20,000 people did the Values Poll, which is true. But considering USC's total population, that's just 27%. So the reality of the situation is much different when you consider the context. It's like saying you're the richest person in New York, but instead of New York City, you're talking about New York, Iowa, where the only thing listed on its Wikipedia page is that a post office closed there in 1903. But with these responses, the Values Poll is part of a much larger initiative going on at USC called the Commitment to Change. This is a large-scale plan for USC to clean up its name, and this poll is just one piece of it. A mere cinnamon twist to the $5 chalupa combo box that is USC's cultural stomach pump. So where did the Commitment to Change begin? Well, you see, not too long ago, USC was in a bad place. Scandals were rampant, students were suing the USC, and like new Kanye, for some reason we thought collaborating with Lil Pump was a good idea.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. 50 racks on new check. My bitch love do cocaine. Ooh.
This also happens to be one of the few times a Russian troll comment isn't fake news. Zloty Mix, well done for infiltrating video of college student dancing to tattooed Muppet Man. Brain dead may need hyphen, but you still do good job. You may have nothing up here, Zloty Mix, but you have something down here. Well done, comrade. So if it's not evident, the university needed to pivot. In May 2018, former USC president and well-known thick daddy Max Nikias sent a message to the university that set forth this plan for a commitment to change. In it, he suggested this idea of creating a multi-year plan that would give USC the chance to examine and redefine its culture. Now, before we go too far, we would first like to issue a viewer discretion notice. For those of you who don't like complicated topics, please stop watching right now. Explaining this whole cultural change thing is very boring and confusing. Very confusing. like accidentally kissing your roommate and kind of liking it confusing. So if boring and confusing sounds at all intimidating to you, we'll give you time to leave as we show you this.
Now, the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 0015, today Tuesday the 1st of August. The general synopsis at 1800. Low, northwest Malin 1002, losing its identity by 1800 Tuesday.
I'm here, smelling salt. God, that was regular salt. Okay. So now, we're about a year and a half into this cultural change, and in that time, USC has been very busy. The school created things like an Office of Professionalism and Ethics, a working group on university culture, a group to address faculty investigations, a VP of Human Resources, the USC Office of Ombud Services, an SVP of Communications, a Committee on Professional Responsibility, and the President's Culture Commission. The school now has more vaguely named bureaucracies than there are family stickers on the back of a Mormon's car. So where does the values poll fit into this? Well, in addition to all of these plans, USC announced they will undergo a cultural journey. And I know what you're thinking. Isn't a cultural journey at USC what you call being the only guy in a gender studies class? Well, Derek, like so many other things in your life, you're hopelessly far from the truth. Reading Joyce Carol Oates won't get you another date, and neither will your new obsession with modern love. Your time will come, Derek, just not now, and not like this. This cultural journey is a 5-step process within the commitment to change that begins with the values poll. Here's what it looks like. First, the campus takes the values poll. Then the USC community gets the results in December. Next spring, USC holds town hall and discussions to talk about the results of the values poll. These discussions are then summarized in April, so by May, we are able to reinforce those values so our campus will look a little something like this. And what fearless leader will be guiding us on this cultural journey? No, it's not Troy who sells you acid, it's not Sarah who takes acid with you, and it's definitely not Kyle who swears that he took acid once and had a really bad time, which is why he's sitting in the corner watching Snapchat Discover. Instead, it's USC's new cultural network, where you can be a partner, cultural facilitator, or culture advocate. Partners support the cultural journey and other cultural events. Cultural facilitators will lead conversations and facilitate culture sessions. And culture advocates, well, they just help everyone else. Think of them like Karamo. You're not quite sure why they're here, but you're told they're important, so you just go with it. If you've been following along now, we wouldn't be surprised if you're having trouble seeing how all these pieces fit together. And honestly, I am too. After all, everything I do is just read off the teleprompter and have no clue what I'm saying. Even right now, I have no idea. Dan didn't even write this. We could just put anything up in here and he would read it like a wind-up brass monkey. Smile and pause. Earlier this week, our writers informed me that we have our own cultural problem right here at night class, which is strange because this is the first thing I heard of it.
Hey, Reed. Just wanted to address something here. Couldn't help but notice that this is almond milk instead of oat milk, so...
I'm not the intern.
Hey! Shut up!
Carrie said that the deferment will give students time to acclimate to the university's academic and social climate before participating in Greek letter organizations.
Hey, hipster Jesus and woman. Script done in 5 minutes? Cool? Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
I can't believe that our joke quote is 1,000 if he only uses 20.
Yeah, and he only uses the jokes that he writes.
It sucks.
Jesus!
You want to know what happened to the last person who didn't make the joke quota?
I don't know.
But we decided now was the perfect opportunity to try to figure out how USC's cultural network is supposed to work.
So I just heard that there were some workplace complaints going on about the general culture around here, and I thought we could take tonight to address some of those complaints.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he ran over my dog.
You hacked my LinkedIn and I can't get a job anywhere.
I hear your complaints, so that's why tonight I wanted to take the time to introduce you to the commitment to consider adjusting.
Consider.
Let's get started. Now, it might be a little confusing to start off, but let's see if you can follow along. So this all starts with you two being upset. To let us know about your grievance, you first have to put it in a handwritten letter that follows the following template we made for you. You then have to send this note out in a letter with a wax seal to our Office of Grievance Submissions, located in Baltimore, Maryland. It should take about 4 to 6 days to arrive. Once there, it will be reviewed by the Committee of Cultural Analysis, where we will determine if your grievance is worth our time. So, after this stage, it is sent to 5 separate outside entities, including KPMG, Trojan Marketing Group, Ralph's, and the cast and crew of Suicide Squad 2, who will copy edit and fact check your complaint. Next, the Armada of Grievance Collections will place your grievance alongside all our other writers for further review by our Department of Atmospheric Measurement, who oversees whether or not your grievance matches up to the standard of our overall mission as a show, which is, of course, perform now, question later. Any questions? Now you're getting the hang of it. Okay, so this department is led by me and 4 other members of the Night Class Overwatch Committee, who will be overseeing the majority of this commitment to consider adjusting. During this process, we may determine at any time to relinquish your complaint and place it into our system of archive. If it does make it past all these hoops, it will then land on my desk, where I will directly read it and determine whether or not it is worth it for us to adjust based on your needs. Fair warning though, I can only read 1 month out of the year, and it happens to be the same month that I am on vacation. In the interim, your grievance will either be filed under our archival system or be used for napkins at our annual committee dinner, which happens at Nobu each week. And forget that I said that last part, because you're not supposed to know that. So based on all of that, any questions?
Can I submit my first complaint?
Yeah.
What?
Where's the template? I think I've got a pen. I can probably.
But it's so complicated. You sure you want to submit a complaint?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So as you can tell, change is hard. Figuring out what each of these bureaucracies do is like trying to remember all the Skarsgård's names. It's just easier to say they're all blonde and more attractive than the rest of us, okay? Maybe not Sam, but the jury's still out on where he even came from. This is something that's been pointed out by USC's critics, too. In an op-ed published by the LA Times, law and history professor Ariella Gross, who leads the group of concerned faculty at USC, argued that USC's culture of impunity will not be fixed with new bureaucracies. It will not be fixed with new training videos. It will not be fixed with flowcharts or buzzwords like wellness and climate. To USC's credit, they have made strides by revising the school's process for reporting faculty and staff members. At the same time, they replaced a large chunk of university leadership. But overall, this commitment to change, it's a huge commitment. Basing things off these past 2 years, it's not shocking that the university body has some commitment issues with USC. It's like, if your ex calls, you don't take them back on the first DM slide. You have to let that trust develop again, because you matter more than that. And they haven't totally proved that they're ready to take things to the next step. And okay, fine, Karamo's not useless. You've made your point, we get it. But these commitment issues might be the reason why less than 30% of faculty, students, and staff came out for a values poll that was vaguely defined, yet somehow was supposed to be the first step in a cultural journey that's supposed to fix our entire school? For a student body looking to see change, this doesn't look like old Kanye. It looks like new Kanye. It looks like this.
This is one of my main things. It's like, what is the culture? It's like, man, this ain't for the culture. We doing something for the culture. We are orphans, bro. We are cultureless. We don't have our own culture. I've been canceled. Right. I've been canceled before they had cancel culture. Wake up, Mr. West, wake up, culture.
And that's our show, folks. We'll see you next week. Man, table salt does it. Who knew?